What's going on, fellow Redliners? Welcome back to another vlog. Welcome to probably the most asked video you guys have been asking me to make, the C8 versus C7 comparison. Should you guys upgrade from a C7 to a C8? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna explain my take on it. As you guys know, I've had many of these cars. I still own a couple of them. So I'm gonna do a comparison between the C8 and C7 and tell you guys if you guys should upgrade or not. I wanna ask you guys first, please hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoy me making this video, enjoy Corvette content. I plan to do a comparison with my GTR as well to the C8, so if you guys wanna see that, please let me know in the comment section down below. Here we go. I'm gonna give the camera to my girlfriend. She's gonna film the cold start on both respective cars, obviously, because we need to move both. And that's another cool thing. My girlfriend's gonna be driving one of these out, and she's looking at me all scared right now because I hadn't told her, because, well, how am I gonna get two cars to a nice location to film? Well, one has to be driven by her. She's kind of dying in the background over there. All right, guys, let's get the cold starts going. All right, guys, this is a cold start on the C7 Corvette. Fair warning, headphone users, turn the volume down. Guys, this is a cold start up on the 2020 C8. Headphones users, turn the volume up. You probably won't hear very much. So, I'm gonna give the option to my girlfriend. Which one do you want to pick? Go.
I'll take the automatic.
She picks the 2020. The thing is that we started doing the manual learning. If you guys haven't seen that video, link up top here. You guys can click that after this one and watch it. She actually got it out on the street, but this one has a little bit more of a tricky clutch than the one that she learned on. So automatic, I'll come in and show you. She's never actually driven this car, so it'll be her first impressions of the car. Do you know how to open it? Well, you've opened the passenger side door.
No, I haven't.
It's the same. So she's turning it on. Yeah, brake. Yeah, gas. There it goes.
Little baby.
Little bit. Oh, it's going back to my position because that's driver one. Okay, so readjust.
Oh, should I put it in?
No, it's okay. It's okay. No. Just move your seat the way you want it.
No heels this time.
No heels. Very good. So all you gotta do, so reverse. Oh yeah, fuel level's low. It's okay, boys. It's always low. So reverse is you click the brake, and then you pull that lever up, and now you're in the.
So you hit this to park.
Yeah, park, reverse,
pull up,
drive, pull up on that
pull
again.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
Okay.
you good? You gonna follow me? Look, there she is. Come on, focus. There she is. Look at her go. She's killing it. All right, guys, we've parked the cars up. Look at that. I'm sorry, I want to apologize right away. It's a little windy. The skies are changing rain to sun, so I just want to apologize in advance. But I figured I'd come on here and give you guys a comparison and let you guys know which car is the better buy, whether it's the C7 or the C8. I think before I even get into it, I think you're gonna see throughout this video that I'm gonna talk about different aspects, and it really depends on which aspect's more important to you guys. So it's really not like this car's a way better car or this car's a way better car. I think they're both absolutely incredible cars. I need to underline incredible for both cars, but it really depends on you, the end user, what you guys are specifically looking for. If you guys are looking for, X driving experience, this car is gonna be a little bit better. If you guys are looking for Y driving experience, this car is gonna be a little bit better. So without further ado, let's hop into the video and let me break it down for you guys. All right, we got the sun and rain, everything here in the Arctic. It's just unbelievable. Anyways, I want to start the video off by explaining a couple key things. I think it's really important for you guys to understand that the C8 obviously takes the needle for the Corvette to a whole nother level. That is up here, and the C7, which already was a radical departure from the C6, is kind of down here in terms of holistic performance and performance capabilities in the future variants. You're talking about, this is the base Stingray. Imagine what the Grand Sport, the Z06, the Zora, the ZR1 is going to bring. It's going to be a whole nother level, and this thing just elevates it and takes the C8 and the Corvette platform into another level that the C7 just couldn't compare. And because of that, the price tag of this car is obviously a little bit higher than this one, and I think in 2021 we're going to see a big increase in that base price. You know, we had the same thing with the C7 when it first came out. It started fairly low. The next year it went up, and the year following it also went up. And we're talking Stingray models, obviously, with the Grand Sport and the Z06. Those prices were significantly more. This car competes naturally with things like the Lamborghini Huracan, the Audi R8, which same car, the Ferrari 458, the Ferrari 488. That's kind of the category that this thing delivers, and it's kind of been, in my opinion, it's kind of the new GTR of things. Let me backtrack and kind of let me tell you where I'm getting that from. The GTR, when it first came out, kind of became the benchmark that every single car was compared to, both in terms of price, both in terms of performance, everything. This car has kind of become the new GTR in the sense that everything, whether it's, you know, the new Mustang GT350, whether it's the Lamborghini Huracan, whether it's the new, I don't know, we have my buddy's M2 right there, everything is going to be compared to this car moving forward, just because of, you know, the price and the performance that it delivers. It's exactly what happened with the GTR. So because of that, this thing is going to have a lot of natural attention, and I think the attention is already well noticed. You drive anywhere, no matter whether you're on a side street, a residential street, you're downtown, every single person is stopping to take a look at this car and telling their significant other or whoever they're with to turn around, and then you just see necks like snapping. I've owned obviously C7 since they came out. You got some looks, some serious looks, but I think there's a radical departure with the C8. Just look at the styling of this car. It's second to none, and at the price point that you get this car at, I don't think there's anything that you can get that beats this. But I think at the end of the day, the most important thing that you guys need to understand is that this is more of a complete all-around vehicle where it does a lot of things incredibly well, but it doesn't do one thing that sets it, wow, it's like it just does everything at a very similar level. Whereas the C7, it's more of a classic Corvette in the sense you have the front engine, you have your manual transmission. It does everything very well, but it does one or two things that just put that massive smile on your face. Like, you know, turning it into a corner, flooring it, and then you hear the exhaust just flare up, the wheels just slide out. It puts a smile on my face every single time. This car is more refined at the end of the day. The interior cabin, more quiet, more luxurious. It's, you know, you feel more secluded from the drive. But because of that, it provides a more holistic, all-around great driving experience. The chassis drives like a Bentley. Like, it drives incredibly well, super fluid. You saw Matt Farah, the smoking tire, he's mentioned it many times, one of the best driving cars ever. But because of that, I think you have a slight, you know, take back in terms of your connection, the driver connection with the road. I think this one, the connection's just a little bit more than this car, but it really depends on what you guys are going for. It's sunny and it's still raining. Very strange. Anyways, but this car rides a little bit more, it's more raw. I think that it encompasses everything. The car is a little bit more raw. The exhaust note goes under the cabin. You hear it. You hear all the fluids going from the front. So, you know, when you're parked, you can actually hear the sound of water or whatever cooling inside the car. How is it still raining? It's sunny. The sun is out right there. Okay, sorry. We're gonna continue here. One take. But it's just more of a raw and more visceral driving experience. When you're driving in it, you can throw it into a corner and you know exactly what the car is going to give you. It's going to give you oversteer every single time. Whereas on the C8, it for 95% of the time, it'll do it and be compliant every single time. But that 5% chance, if you throw it in a little bit too hard, or if you're not braking enough, where there's not enough weight on the front tires, you'll get a little bit of a wheel hop, or a little bit of understeer on this car specifically. And just because of that, I think this one is a more predictable car. It gives you something that you know what you're going to get every single time. All right, so now let's talk about styling. Obviously, I think this car is very, very bold, especially in the Sebring orange. This is obviously the Laguna blue, which is also a fairly bold color, I'd say. But I think this thing is just, like I mentioned earlier, a head turner. And because of the way the chassis has been developed, obviously being mid-engine, you see that in the lines and the way that the car is. I think a perfect example of that is when you take the Targa top off on this one, you have a much shorter area in which you have an open top experience versus the C7, which has a significantly greater area. Because of that, when you're riding with both cars with the top off, you get slightly more wind noise in this car and you feel a little bit more air. So that goes with what I was saying earlier in saying that this is more of a visceral, raw experience, whereas this is more of a sedate, I think sedate's it's not the best word, but I hope you guys can understand. It's more of an all-around, just great experience. Nothing bothers you. That your hair could get flung around. Talking about haircuts, yeah, I hope things open up so I can get mine done. But if I was to drive this car with the top off, my hair is going to come out. Sorry, that one. If I drive with this car, it'll probably come out looking very bad as is now, but it'll be way better than this car. So that's one more thing. The other thing is just look at where the mirrors are placed. The cars are lined up in terms of the front. Look at how much further forward this mirror is in comparison to the C7 mirror. You can get an idea of what that difference has done. This cabin is shifted probably a solid 2 to 3 feet further forward than this car. And because of that, when you're driving inside the cars, here you have a long hood line that you look at. Whereas this one, you almost see nothing. You may see maybe the tip right here, but besides that, depending on how you're sitting, you may not even see the hood. It's a straight drop off. It makes putting your car in the garage much easier. It makes turning, three-way turning, parallel parking, things like that, much easier than with this car. This is more of a traditional car layout. This is more of a European exotic type of layout where the hood just drops right up. Bentley's driving by again. Very interesting. That just sounds pretty decent. Anyway, this one, like I was saying, it's an easier car to drive. All right, so now let's talk about the heart of both cars. You see a radical difference in obviously what compartments open. There you have the back of the car open. Here you have the front of the car open. Goes without saying. You actually have the same exact engine in both cars. You're both dealing with the 6.2 liter V8. This one obviously being the LT1, that one being retooled slightly to fit in the rear part of the car. They have to remanufacture and redefine how the exhaust pieces work and stuff like that, so they call that the LT2. But the heart, at the end of the day, is the exact same, or very, very similar. This one is pumping out slightly less horsepower than that one. That one's about 45 horsepower more, and that obviously is just attributed to the tuning. I'm sure if you tune this car, you can get the same levels of performance. Taking a look at this engine bay, it's very, very easy to work on. Everything is readily accessible. Stuff, home, DIY, people can work on their own cars. Whereas moving over to the C8, we'll go around here, you see a much more confined and refined experience. Let me just push this up just a bit. Taking a look, I'll stand on this side here. Taking a look, everything is kind of shortened, put together in this smaller compartment area. If you look downwards on it, you can see just how much harder it is to gain access to some of this stuff. So it likely will be a much trickier experience. Obviously the car is very, very new, and it goes without saying that not many people know how hard it's going to be to do routine maintenance, if that's what you desire. Oil changes are made very simple on both cars, but I'm talking more serious stuff, like if you want to do the timing belts or the timing change, or you want to do something more serious, this car is likely going to prove a little bit more difficult to use and operate within than the C7. Now let's talk about traveling and living with the car. I think that's one of the most important things, living with your sports car. Are you going to daily drive this car? if it's me, yes, I daily drive my Corvette. Trunk space and storage space is something really, really important. Let's pop the trunk on the C8 and compare it to the 2 trunks on the C7. We've got to the back of the car. So in terms of cargo space, this thing is very, very long, which allows you to fit things like televisions in here. No joke, I've gone with my girlfriend and bought a 50-inch TV and we've put it in this car, in this actual car. It fits, you just move the seats forward a little bit and you're good to go. The other thing is, if you want to add something long, like a skateboard or skis, for us that live in the Arctic, you can do it. Whether or not it's the most orthodox way of fitting stuff in here, that's not my business. But I'm just reporting the fact that you can do it. The other thing is, when you add the top sits on these buckles right here, which gives you a whole lot of space to fit duffel bags and stuff underneath. The C8 does that same thing as well. Let's take a look at the back trunk on this guy. So the top on here sits upwards and they snap in here, which allows you to fit certain items under here, but you're very limited in your space. You saw how large of a trunk that was and how much stuff you can fit under here. You may be able to fit 1 or 2 duffel bags, small duffel bags, and by comparison, you'd be able to fit 4 or 5 of the same duffel bags in the C7. That's a huge difference for the trunk. Now, you must remember that on the C8, you also have the trunk. So, opening this up, you can see you have a decent amount of cargo space in here. The thing is the shape of which these things are. Oh, there's a Bentley rolling by. Very good. We were just talking about Bentleys. This thing, I think, combined together, you get a very similar amount of cargo space. But the difference is the items that you can fit. You're very defined in terms of what you can fit in here and what you can fit in there, especially with the top off. Whereas with C7, you have a more traditional type of trunk, like comparable to a sedan in terms of length, depth, and stuff like that. So that's a big difference that I think you guys should consider when buying or thinking of upgrading. If you use that storage space, then I think you're going to encounter some problems if you want to use the C8 in the same manner. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a couple of key takeaways. This car is a good upgrade for you or a good buy for you if you're looking for an all-around amazing experience. If you're looking for something that's gonna be burn your hair off kind of experience, that's more of a C7 type of thing. If you're looking for that kind of car, I would almost definitively tell you, go buy this car, drive it for a couple years, and then buy a C8 if you get tired of it. But if not, I think they're both absolutely phenomenal cars. I'm obviously a Corvette fanatic. I have a lot of mileage on the C7s. I've owned 7 of them, still own a couple of them. So I've driven it a lot. I know exactly what it's like to live in this thing. I've driven it in snow, rain, mud, hail, ice, everything. And if you guys want to see that, go look at my Instagram. There's tons of funny content on there. And I plan to do the same and give you guys a more updated impression later on, maybe after the winter, on how these two compare in different conditions. But for now, I think we're going to close out the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something most importantly. And if you guys did, please give me a like on the video. So share this video with your friends. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. I look forward to seeing you guys next video. Thanks for supporting me. Enjoy the Corvette content. See you guys next video.